Yes, as the anniversary passed just a few short days ago, you may have caught on that the 6th of Jan has officially been exalted to modern myth. You know, like leprechauns, the Yeti, or a woman who accepts responsibility. You know this, I know this, and we've covered all of the above exhaustively, not only on this channel, but in my podcast, The RazörForce Offensive. Yet as time ticks on, and the calendar lapses into a 2024 election cycle that promises pants-on-skull stupidity on a cyclopean scale, more and more, the Tay-Tay listening, Walmart shopping, pumpkin spice swilling normies are waking up to one simple fact. Like all great myths,
it's a fake.
I've seen people say in a fit of weaponized understatement that this story stinks. No, precious, a cat lady's living room stinks. The official narrative of Jan the 6th makes the public restrooms at Dodger Stadium smell like freshly baked banana bread. From the first frames of footage depicting Capitol Police parting the barricades and ushering so-called insurrectionists into the property, this story added up about as well as Wesley Snipes' tax returns. And if the social media feeds of every American hadn't been more gaslit than Victorian London, you'd likely remember prominent figures remarking as much. The dearly departed Norm Macdonald authored a banger tweet, which I signal boosted at the time for whatever it's worth, asking why the insurrectionists were respecting the velvet ropes in the statuary hall. A tweet he sadly soon deleted, likely around the time he realized his Twitter mentions had more cancer than his bone marrow. Point being, the alphabet news networks can play pretend all they like. The official narrative of the event was not retroactively called into question by Trump or his supporters, but rather many an eagle-eyed observer were questioning it in real time. By the time Tucker Carlson released the piteously few footage reels of the event on Fox, the mere admission that the official narrative was about as genuine as The Rock's physique was an effective formality, even if Tucker went light years out of his way not to release the footage showing police opening fire into the crowd before the Fed riot formally commenced.
I need the less than lethal team position above me to start deploying. Launch! Launch! Launch!
You gotta turn around.
I was standing within 15 feet of the line of officers. They started firing at us before anybody did anything to them. We were not rushing them. There was no advance on them. They just started throwing concussion grenades and pepper spray.
We need more fucking munitions. Let's go. Fucking shoot it. Go. Shoot. Shoot.
150, 4 more string balls. What the fuck?
Something which may have exonerated the Jan 6 defendants still rotting in federal penitentiaries even as I rant. Yes, that's the cue for the Carlson cucks to crap their cranky pants in my comments section, to which I reply, I warned you all about Ann Coulter ages ago and you clapped back in unison. How's Hack Beauty looking these days? Don't get me wrong, I appreciate what Tucker did. It's just a shame he only did it halfway, like always. I don't mind finger flipping and chair spinning, folks, but I admit it would make a welcome change if just for once my warnings were heeded before they went into syndication. But one point anyone left, right, or inverted all agreed on is one Ray Epps, whose behavior both before and during the event was fishier than Ellen DeGeneres' breath, inciting his friends and countrymen to collapse the barricades and storm the Bastille, and even being filmed while doing so.
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? No! Peacefully. Fed. We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction. Please spread the word.
All right, noted. But one more thing.
Yeah, so can we go up there? No?
When we go in,
Are we going to get arrested if we
leave
go
this
up there?
here. You don't need to get shot.
And with his sentencing arriving this past week, when the dust and bear spray settled, Ray stormed the Citadel. Epps found himself on the receiving end of a $500 fine and a probationary slap on the wrist so firm you'd think he forgot to rewind his Blockbuster tapes. Easy there, Judge Judy. I haven't seen a penalty this severe since Chris Christie was banned from LA Fitness. And speaking of Secretariat, what lifted my can off the crapper was when Ann Coulter took a timeout for the closing stretch of the Belmont Stakes to impute the idea that saying Elmer Fudd was instigating for an alphabet agency was a, quote, conspiracy theory. No, Ann, your birth canal's a conspiracy theory, and you haven't stopped spreading it since Comedy Central cut you a check for that god-awful Rob Lowe roast. Hey, how'd you score that gig, Ann? Did they ring you up and ask if you were a roasty? Don't tell me I'm delusional. I don't even find you funny yet. Give or take the odor. And yet, in spite of a full court press damage control effort that'd make Hunter Biden Hunter Green with envy, national polls now track skepticism of the official yarn about Jan 6th at around 25 to 30%, the highest such measure since polls were first convened. But don't worry, they'll have a 4 a.m. public opinion dump any minute now. Some people could drop acid in the wallpaper department at Home Depot and still not see a pattern. Don't blame strangers for your lack of discernment, and don't call me a skeptic, because I'm 1,000% certain your story's about as legit as a homeopathic brain surgeon. Skepticism doesn't even come along for the ride here. Maybe the chin strap on my thinking cap is tied a little tight here, but folks, it's 2024. The biggest bugs are being built in a lab, attached to your smartphones, or added to the menu. The World Economic Forum's being headed by a bald German guy who's a monocle and a moon laser away from taking Austin Powers hostage, while CCP surveillance balloons are photographing Movie Bob's bald spot from space. The word paranoid is more overdue for retirement than Ric Flair. In 2024, the only people who make me genuinely paranoid are people who say stop being paranoid. Look, whether public opinion were pushing in our favor or not, really think about it for a moment. Even if Jan 6, Seth Rich, or anything else in the heliocentric solar system turned out to be a disinformation souffle, could you really blame us for grabbing a bite? Millennials and their broccoli-coiffed lesser clones, the Zoomers, are a generation weaned on existential cyber skepticism, who went slowly stir-crazy during the 2020 Tyranno mandates, and whose nursemaids were paranoid men like Blair White and paranoid women like Mike Cernovich. If Gen X thinks they have an axe to grind, we're Gimli, son of Gloin. The Jan 6 Commission couldn't get to the bottom of a Pringles can, let alone an event they deliberately obfuscated as it occurred, which is precisely why it drew lower ratings than Star Trek Discovery. Listening to Pelosi prattle on about an event she fled from within microseconds was like holding a curling iron to my nipples for 8 hours. And to make matters worse, the political establishment are devoting the time they're not spending actually investigating the event and exculpating its alleged participants to truly pressing work, like removing Civil War statues and planting gender-neutral porta-potties. But I got news for you, precious. A Frankensteinian lady crank is about the 18th worst thing we've ever seen in a porta-potty. And if you really want to remove divisive, inanimate objects, how's about you start with Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell? I'm Razor Fist. Godspeed!